Hi, welcome back to the September Basic Saturday Sampler here close to home in Southington. The block we're working on this month is going to be a raw edge applique block. As you can see from the block, I have cut out 4 hearts in a different fabric than our background fabric. And we go ahead and fuse this onto our background and then use an applique stitch much like we did with the Dresden a couple months ago. Except this is fused on, the other one was not. Alright, so in our kit we're going to start with a large rectangle of blue. You're going to need 2 6-inch squares and a large rectangle of white, in which you're going to need 2 6.5-inch squares. All 4 of these are 6.5 inches cut. Sorry. We're going to go ahead and sew these into a 4-patch. So we're going to put them together and sew them and press them to the darker side, which is the blue. And then when we put them together, we're going to just reverse them. And I have one done on the wall already. Okay, so we're just going to make a 4-patch out of these. So when you get to put your top row and bottom row together, make sure because these are pressed toward the blue, make sure you really lock in that seam and get a nice intersection right in the center. Okay? And then we press that just to one side. It doesn't really matter. So this block here is 12.5 unfinished. It will be 12-inch finished once we sew it into our quilt top. So we have our background, step 1. Step 2 is making our heart shape raw edge applique. So what we've done is we have 2 pieces of our applique fabric in our kit. You're going to need 1/4 yard of Steam-A-Seam 2 light. Steam-A-Seam 2 means that it has 2 pieces of paper between the fusible webbing. So in here, as I peel this back, 1/2 of this is sticky and 1 is paper. So we want to make sure that the sticky side, when we peel this apart, we want to make sure the sticky side stays with the gridded side, because this is the side we're going to draw our template on. So what I've done is I've taken my 1/4 yard of Steam-A-Seam 2 light, I folded it in half, and what I'm going to do is trace my shape onto this gridded side. One side you can see has yellow grids, the other side does not. So I'm going to take a nice sharp pencil and I'm just going to go ahead and trace the entire heart shape right on the gridded paper. Okay? If you kind of get a little wonky, that's okay, because this isn't your cut, you're going to cut on this line, so hopefully you cut a little bit better. Okay, so I have 1 here. I'm going to just move it up. They can be about 1/2 inch apart from each other, and then we're going to go ahead and trace this one. So I have 2 on this side, and I'm going to do it again. So this is for the floral and this one's for the red. I'm going to trace, I'm going to move and trace. So we have a total of 4 hearts. Alright, so what I've done is after I've traced, I've cut my Steam-A-Seam 2, it still has both papers on it, very close to the line, maybe 1/8, 1/4 inch away from the line. Alright, we're going to peel away the back paper. Once we've rough cut our shape, we're just going to go ahead and try to get this paper off. Sorry. Here we go. And we want to make sure that the fusible webbing, I don't know if you can see that, it's sticky, and we want the sticky fusible side to adhere to the gridded side. And the paper, the back paper itself is just going to pull right off. So we're going to throw that away, and we're going to hold on to our fusible. On the wrong side of our multi-floral and red, we're going to lay our hearts. Okay, we want to make sure that they stay inside the barriers of our fabric. Okay, if this goes beyond the fabric and we go to fuse this on, what's going to happen is that fusible is going to get on our ironing board, and that's not what we want. So, fusible side to the wrong side, we're going to go over and fuse. So basically you can steam it. I don't have my steam on, but you could use the steam on your iron. It is called Steam-A-Seam. But I'm just going to use some real good hot iron. Just kind of hold it on there for a count of maybe 5 or 6 depending on your iron, and make sure that it's completely fused to the fabric. So we're going to do this for both the red and the multi. The next thing you're going to do is get a nice pair of scissors. These are Olfa 5-inch serrated blade. Has a lot of control, nice big finger holes, so it should fit everybody's hand. And now we're going to cut out our shape on the line. Okay, so we're just going to go right around, nice and smooth, and we're going to go ahead and cut out all our shapes. All right, once we have our shapes, which I've done for us right here, I've gone ahead and cut out all the shapes, and I still have the gridded papers on the back of these. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and peel off the last piece of paper, the one that had the pencil on it, that had the little yellow grid lines on it. And you can see that the paper comes off clean, but the fusible webbing sticks to the back or the wrong side of our applique template piece. Okay? So we're going to do that to all 4. And then we're going to fuse them to our background. So what we're going to do is peel these off. Probably should have had these all peeled already. Sorry. Okay, this might take a minute. Just get it started. Make sure that that paper comes off nice and clean. Okie dokie, hold on a sec. When you're doing a big project, this is a beautiful block for maybe a baby quilt. You could make it either boy or girl, or even a wedding quilt, and you can have all your guests sign the insides of the hearts. That's a really good idea. All right. So I have all those. I'm going to prepare. Where do I put them on the background? So hold on. So we're going to mark a diagonal line from the inside corner to the outside corner, but not a lot. We're just going to mark it at the 1.5 inch mark. That's where the little points of our hearts are going to go. And up a little bit higher, maybe I'll just draw like a little line right here. Not a lot of line, just a little bit, just so I have a reference point of where the tip goes and where the inset of the heart is. And we're going to go ahead and do that on all 4 sides. From the center, now notice I put the center on any one of these solid lines, and it goes right out to the corner, and I'm going to measure in 1.5 because I thought that looked pretty good, and just give yourself a little reference line there. And then from the corner in 1.5, again, I'll just put any of these solid lines right into the center, measure up 1.5, make my mark, and then somewhere up here is the rest of my heart. And I'll do it one more time just to show you. Line up the ruler from the center out to the corner. We're going to measure up 1.5, and then somewhere up here we'll have a line. All right. So on the blue, we have the multi. So I'm going to line up my heart, the point with that 1.5 inch mark, and the line that's up here with the inset of my heart. So here and here. And these are repositionable, which is really great. So you can have them down and move them after. So again, here's the point of the blue, and I'm going to line that up with the line that's inside the heart. And the red ones, same deal. This one's going to have the, I kind of muff that corner. And here's my line going up, so put that there. Now these are, again, not permanent until we fuse them. So I'm just going to bring this around until it matches the inside here. Okay. Oops. Once I'm happy with that, I can move that. I can remark them if I want. I can put them pretty much any direction I want or anywhere that I want. But now I'm going to fuse them on, and they will be permanent. All right, so again, just kind of a pressing motion. Try not to go back and forth because you might pull up your applique piece. So we're just going to kind of put some heat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just give it a nice press. And because I use these friction pens, those marks are going to disappear. Okay? Don't use your pencil on this portion of it. So all my little orange marks have disappeared. Okay, the last step in doing raw edge applique is actually doing the applique. So we're going to switch out our thread. On the red, I think I used a white thread because it matched my background. And on the blue background for the multi-hearts, I believe I used a blue. Again, it matched my, I'll do the white, because it matched my background. You can pick any decorative stitch that you want. I like the ladder stitch, I like the applique stitch, and I like a nice small stitch. Let me pull this up. All right. We're going to change off our 1/4 inch foot for an open toe foot. And again, the open toe foot has nothing in front of the toes that's going to interfere where I'm going to be making my stitch. So I have complete visibility when I use the open toe foot and I'm trying to do decorative stitches, applique, things like that. So I'll go ahead and put that foot on. In Bernina's world, it's a number 20 foot. And of course, anytime we do any kind of decorative stitching, remember with the 30-degree Snowburst Dresden that we did a couple months ago, we used a nice piece of tearaway stabilizer. So when we're done, we're just gonna tear it away and it'll be gone. We use 505 temporary adhesive to temporarily adhere the tearaway to the back of our block. So let me give this a little bit of a spray. Just enough to hold it on. And this tearaway really does help stabilize our block when we do any kind of decorative stitches. So if you're doing placemats or table runners or things like that, always put something like a tearaway behind your single piece of fabric. All right. So I have the white on. I have it stabilized. I'm going to go ahead and pick the stitch, which is, let's go, it's number, on the Bernina 475, it's stitch 1309, okay? Where I like to begin is if you're not comfortable doing the applique stitch, you might want to consider taking some of the leftover steam-a-seam and some of the leftover fabric in your kit and just practice, you know, fuse it to a scrap piece of fabric and just practice doing a couple of the blanket stitches. So I don't like to start on a curve. I like to kind of start on a straightaway line, and then we're going to pivot and come around. This particular stitch, and it's good to practice, will come forward. So forward, left, right, forward, left, right, forward, left, right, forward. When it moves forward, you want to make sure that that needle always lands in the intersection of the red and the white. More on the white than on the red, but if you had to pick. And that the fingers, when they come left, right, are always aimed directly off the edge and not at an angle going up your applique shape. Okay, takes a lot of practice when to pivot, when to turn. You always want to try to pivot on the outside edge, unless of course you're in an inside curve. Okay, and the other thing is there's a lot of machines out there who have a blanket stitch that may be doubled. So it may be forward, back, forward, left, right, forward, back, forward, left, right. And it's a heavier looking blanket stitch, which is perfectly fine. It's whatever you want to do, but you have to keep in mind where you are in your stitch. So really quick, I will show you a couple of the applique stitches. I like to turn on my my knot because I like to secure my stitch until I get back around. So it's going to actually take a couple stitches right on the white, as you can see. It's going to take a couple stitches to secure, and then it's going to go left, right, forward, left, right, forward. And each time it comes to the right, it's literally landing just on the one piece of white fabric. All right, so we're just going to go around this. I'll come up to the, I picked the bad heart to do. All right, so let me just go. I'll try to. Okay, so I'm approaching the point, that there's no point. And I'll pivot, it goes left, right, and then it goes forward, stop with the needle down, pivot again. Remember, all the time when it goes left, it has to be into the fabric. So it's going to go left, forward, and we're just going to continue. And we're just going to go until we come all the way around, gently, turning our fabric, keeping our hands on the fabric as we go. Okay? When we get to a really tight corner, we want to needle down on the outside, pick up our foot, and just gently turn our blocks. I should tell you at this point that your blocks need to be completely appliqué to get your next month's kit for free. Okay, it's not finished until the applique stitches are around the shapes. After you're done sewing all 4 hearts, you're just going to go ahead and come to the back, and just like you did a couple months ago, and you're just going to tear away the excess stabilizer on your tear away. So that's it. Fun. Oh, and one other thing, when you do applique, remember that you are drawing the reverse shape. So if it's the, say it's a letter E, you need to do a backwards E on your paper with the grids, because you flip it over and it becomes the right way. So hearts, can be done in either way, from the top or the back. They're the same on either side. But letters, numbers, things like that, if you want to work on that. Bring in your August basic completed block beginning this Saturday, September 18th at 10 a.m. To receive your September's kit free. Also, this Saturday only, September 18th, we're having a sale, Finish the Bolt, 50% off on selected bolts that are up on our cutting board. Okay, it's not every bolt in the store, but we have two very large piles of Finish the Bolts, and they have about roughly three yards or less on them. All right, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.